Southern Australia, 2010. The country's greatest river basin, the Murray-Darling, is dying just 200 years after European settlement. Global climate change, along with water-greedy crops, have drained the basin. Lagoons, wetlands, and forests have been destroyed. A permanent dredge works just to keep the Murray River's mouth open. In the midst of the worst drought in history, an Aboriginal group decides it can wait no longer.
It makes you feel sorry, sad to see the state of the river. Seeing it like that it makes us feel sick. It makes us feel bad inside.
Led by Major Sumner, elder of the Ngarrindjeri people, a united group of Aboriginal nations is spending nearly 2 weeks traveling the length of the Darling and Murray rivers.
It's a thing that's been going for thousands and thousands of years, where our people came and visited with each other. They visited and they traded, but they also danced and sang songs about the creation of this country.
But this time the gathering is a bit more urgent. Each night they perform the Murundi Ruwe Pengari Ringbalin, translated literally, River Country Spirit Ceremony. They hope to dance the spirit back into the land, to heal the waters and the people.
I think the idea of healing the river and the spirit of the river is not a new one. It was something that was done traditionally. We're water people, we're river people, and when we have water we just embrace it. We embrace it because it's who we are, you know, it makes everything. It makes us who we are.
As the driest inhabited continent, Australia's always had its share of water challenges. The Murray-Darling Basin is Southeast Australia's lifeline. The basin generates 39% of the nation's agricultural production income. The precious water is also harnessed for energy production and for cities and tribal communities alike. Each night, area leaders perform parts of the Rainbow Serpent creation story at sacred places along the river. And it pays off, too much, with the largest flood surge in 100 years. For some, the drought merely exposed the wounds of the critically ill watershed. Even though the rains have returned, the Australian government is forging ahead with a courageous undertaking, asking farmers and communities to adapt to a thirsty future in order to restore failing rivers, lakes, and wetlands. Craig Knowles is heading up this tricky but vital initiative.
There's been some terrific work done to try and build a cohesive framework for the management of an entire river and basin system that is a bit bigger than the combined area of Germany and France.
And it's put a lot of folks on edge.
Very often you get diametrically opposed views. Everyone feels as though they're right. And I argue that you can't have a healthy economic and social base in the basin without a healthy environment, and we see them as being necessary to work together.
Major Sumner and Cheryl Buchanan are on the move again. Supported by the Murray-Darling Basin Authority, this year's Ringbalin culminates with a ceremony at the Coorong, a unique estuary.
It's a part of who I am. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my parents' life. When I grew up, when people got sick, they'd bring them to the Coorong and bathe them in the water. Because to the Ngarrindjeri, Coorong was a healing.
So understanding the landscape has a spiritual element, but it also has a very practical element. These Indigenous communities have a lot to teach us, and we have a lot to learn.
At the mouth of the Murray River, there's plenty to cheer about. In 2010, there was no water here.
Oh, wow, you know, what can you say? It's just magnificent. And you look at the country and you go, it's just this freshness and this intensity about it now. It's just amazing. It was like the trees and everything was just, you know, more alive than they've got their youth back again, you know.
I feel that the people that's been controlling everything for the last couple hundred years, they need to step back and let us, as Aboriginal people from along that river, let us get that back to how it was and let that river flow down.